Well, car prices reached all-time highs this summer. The average price of a new car more than $45,000. As WTIU reports, higher prices may sound like a good thing for dealers, but the supply chain and inflation issues has some car dealers worried.
The big issue has been inventory. Before the pandemic, dealers across the U.S. typically had 3.5 million cars in their lots. That fell to 2.7 million at the start of the pandemic and hasn't recovered.
Hey guys, were you taking care of this?
Tom Gaddy, the sales manager at Paul Richard GM in Peru, says before the pandemic, they typically have 60 new vehicles on the lot. Right now they have 3.
More and more people are taking the time, instead of having to have the immediate gratification of going and grabbing a vehicle off the lot and taking it home today. They're coming in, they're ordering exactly what they want, waiting, could be 2 months, it could be 6 months, don't know.
It means that most new cars that hit the lot are already bought. And Gaddy says on top of that, supply chain issues and labor are affecting inventory.
We've got vehicles that have been built and sitting and waiting in a lot somewhere in Canada, anywhere, that they're sitting and waiting for 2, 3, 4 months that are built, and just they can't get transportation here.
He says his dealership has about the same amount of used car inventory right now as before the pandemic. Used car prices also saw a sharp uptick, hitting highs this summer of more than $26,000.
We know when this is all over, we're going to have to count on our friends and neighbors and people that we had sold before, and we don't want to be known as somebody that took advantage of the situation.
Car prices were increasing back in 2019, but the sharpest jumps were in 2021 and 2022. The prices have discouraged some consumers from buying. As researchers reported, vehicle sales dropped more than 19% compared with the first half of last year. The prices and uncertain inventory are plaguing Jeremy Hazley, the finance manager for a dealership in Spencer. He says they have seen a drop in new buyers.
We're a relatively small country store. We don't sell hundreds of new cars like the big city stores do.
He says their vehicle orders aren't prioritized, so they've adjusted to selling almost exclusively used cars.
It hurts them, but probably not as much as it hurts us, because we're used to having 10 to 15 to 20 cars on the lot, and we have between 2 and 5 right now.
Prices are expected to drop, especially in the used market. And Andrew Butters, an economics professor in the Kelley School of Business, says we've already started seeing that. Price growth compared to last year was 12% in July, a drop from 28% growth comparing April 2022 to April 2021.
I want to emphasize that the inflation rate coming down for new and used vehicles still leaves it at a very high rate of price increases. So again, if we were to just to think about like year-on-year changes, we're still talking about price increases that are like around 10%, which is still a number that we haven't seen for like 50 years.
He says we're seeing the ripple effects of slowing the economy down for an extended period.
The economy, while very robust and strong, does have its own frictions embedded in it. And what do I mean by that? I mean just that just the physical activity of having people stop working at their establishment and then trying to return, that can tend to be a very sort of costly endeavor.
Gaddy and Hazley say they hope for some return to normal eventually.
All we're trying to do is get the best inventory at the best prices at the best times, and day by day, working within this temporary situation.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Ben Taboutier.
Now, Butters says prices will go down, but given the wide variety of economic factors affected by the pandemic, a complete return to normal anytime soon isn't realistic.